Hello, Core 3 Beauties. This is Marcos, and this is our week 2 to 3 recap briefing video for our Core 3 Topics class at Parsons School of Design. And this is an important one because we had a great session yesterday where we met and reviewed in 2 half-class sessions our 1 to 25 to 50 part 2 exercise that completed our research and had a lot of good sharing, and everyone has worked so hard and has presented a lot of great stuff with some really good concepts that are going to lead to some great physical and digital form projects. But in doing that, I was a little slack in managing the time and didn't have enough time to brief you on the next steps. So this is the video that's going to tell you how to proceed next now that you have your research and concepts generally flushed out and archived together and ready to begin the design process. So let's talk about what is expected for the workflow for this next week as we go into week 3. So project 1, Beauty of Making Physical Projects. We're going to kick that off now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a concept presentation. You might consider a third presentation that will begin the process of conceptualizing a specific kind of physical form, a publication, a print piece, some form that you are already thinking about and have already probably have a good idea of what you're doing. And that's going to be developed into a presentation that has like your overall vision and plan scoped out, as well as beginning of the design process and preliminary layouts and of different aspects of your piece. So that's the main thing we're doing this week, and a very important thing. Also, there's our second video on serial publications is out. I slacked and emailed everybody about an hour ago that link, and you can check that on the Slack channel or in your email. So please watch that before our next class Tuesday. And then speaking of next week, we're going to have another sort of innovative use of our time next week so that there is more time for each of you to work on this, as we have kind of a small amount of time. And I think that this worked really well last year when we did it, that sharing the class in half, giving everybody more time to present this time and more time to get feedback, and whether it's in the group or afterwards in class. So we're going to have half the class meet Tuesday and half the class meet Thursday. And yes, those on Tuesday need to have your project done sooner, but that's okay. Some of you are more ahead than others, and it's just how it's going to work best. And of course, less will be expected if you're on Tuesday. But let's talk about the project overall and begin to get you prepared on how to develop this. So physical forms, it's a 3-week project, and kind of counting what you've already done last week, but we're going to expand the time a little bit. I'll get into that later. Here's the overview. We'll conceive of a print publication that represents your collection with a distinct point of view. The publication can take many different forms. It may be a magazine that addresses the issues posed by your collection. It may be a catalog for imagery exhibiting event conference. It could also be an experimental form that becomes a type of on-demand pop-up exhibit. So there is, beyond the publication aspect, there is opportunity for it to go into a physical form that might be in exhibition form. And I don't discourage that, but I think that working in the physical form of a print publication might have more potential to have a practicality to it, while also giving you the opportunity to do something innovative and dynamic, but within the print, the traditional print aspect, and the binding and the paper. I think there's something about that I want to encourage you to stay towards, and pretty much everyone's doing that. So content, your publication will be based on curation of your seed collection to create a narrative. You may add, edit to this content as your project develops. So we've already talked about that. Everyone's done really, really great job exploring different aspects based on the initial prompt of collecting imagery and collecting data, and on the foundations of beauty, and the aspect of trying to bring a positive perspective towards shining the light on reality and bringing forth something that has that aspect of beauty in it in some form, whether it's very behind the curtains or whether it's very upfront. And everyone's done really great with that. So deliverables, a print publication, a concept, and design presentation. So maybe that's in backwards order. We're going to do a concept presentation, then a design presentation, then the physical piece, and at the final review critique. Whoops, my computer's stuck. Here we go. So parameters. Your publication must include a concept, structure, navigation, typography, layout, and grid, and a cohesive visual system. This is pretty general stuff. The relationship between the publication and its narrative should be clear. The audience should be defined. So this is something on the last part here that we didn't quite discuss. And I think it's very key, and I'm surprised I didn't discuss it, but we always in design need to be knowing who we're talking to and why we're talking to them and what we're trying to say. So I want to make sure in this concept presentation that you think about who your audience is, kind of define them in a general way, and describe who it is you're trying to reach, talk to, convince, inspire, enlighten, and this will also help guide you in the way you create your design and be strategic about the decisions you make and how you do this. All right, it should, A, include at least 3 different stories, visual or written, that connects to your concept. You compare text and visuals from different sources into one story. Okay, so this is now beginning to be specific in order to give you guys guidance. And I didn't say this earlier, but what I've been reading in these past few pages is the overall general assignment for all topics for all the cohorts. And as you remember, we talked, wait, what was that flash? We talked about in class that you don't necessarily, we have to tell you what to do, but then it's a matter of what you do with that directive. So I'm basically just giving you what it is you should be doing. So it should include a cover, a table of contents, a masthead, a colophon, at least 2 large features and 3 smaller stories. The form of these elements can be reinterpreted. But professor, my thing isn't a magazine. It's not like this. What should I do? Okay, remember now, this is just guidance. Whether you wash your hands or not is up to you. And I'm not saying you'll do a bad thing, but if you're not doing a traditional publication as this is describing, then that's okay. But this is giving you context of so that you know the kind of depth this should have, so you don't end up with that little postcard set that wasn't enough. I don't want that to happen. All right, include a cover. I just said that the publication should contain at least 2 signatures, 32 pages. Again, don't flip out. This is a guide. It should be about 32 pages. That's kind of like in general what that means to your project. I need you to interpret, but basically we want to make sure everyone is creating content that has some sort of equal or approximate depth, and that you're not scamming us by doing too little. So again, 2 signatures or 32 pages, that's just a general guideline. The format and production of the print piece should align with the concept, paper size, binding, etc. So yeah, the form is up to you and the way you bind it. But again, it's about making something that's substantial in a way, that's effective in communication, but is in depth and not surface level or not quick and easy. All right. Okay, so now we can talk about what we're doing as a first step. So this is the part 1 concept development, which is due on Tuesday or Thursday, depending on which section you're going to be in. But based on the work you've created in your form and content exercises, create a concept direction for your publication project. So in a way, you've already begun this concept deck, and you're now going to bring it to a more cohesive and scaled down expression of what you're going to do after all this exploration and all this content development and content gathering. So you can choose from the following options. It could be a book, a magazine, a zine, a poster series. And again, I don't have it listed here, but it could be some form of exhibit or pop-up exhibit in a physical form, though. It can't be a digital thing. Don't get the exhibit mixed up with the digital thing. There will be an opportunity to do exhibit in the digital form as well. So don't necessarily think you got to do it now if you're interested in that kind of thing. Okay, so you're going to create a presentation like you've been doing, and everyone's doing a good job at that. And it should include the following: a title slide with your name, class assignment title, set like you've already done. Again, the introduction page that outlines what your assignment is about. A summary review of your form and content research work. So summarize what you've done so far in a quick and easy way. That's not about showcasing all the content, but maybe there are thumbnails, maybe there's a way you can do it that just gives a highlight of the kind of content you now have. Present your proposed publication format. So take a page or two to discuss format. Maybe you show design inspirations of publications you found that look cool and take a photo of them or some way record them. But this could also be an area of discussion where you have a couple options and we can talk about it. And we've already done a little bit of that. Create a thumbnail storyboard pagination map of your book. So this is kind of the big thing of your publication of your physical form. Create, and I'll show you an example, but create a schematic on one page with little spreads that showcase the plan of how the content of your work will scope out. It could be the kind of plan that includes text that describes what's going to be on the spreads and then followed with sketches of the kind of layout inspiration. It doesn't need to be a design, it doesn't have to be laid out in the way you're going to design it, but it can be, and many times it is. And that might help you in getting inspiration on how to do this. But a little combination of sketchy layouts and text so that we can see exactly, not exactly, but how you propose to create your publication based on the amount of pages you're going to take and where the content's going to go and what it might look like. Design a set of preliminary design direction covers and spreads. So now you've got the plan made, and now you've got to choose a format and begin to realize layouts with typography, with imagery, with illustration, with whatever you're doing. Create those sample spreads. Probably maybe try to do a cover as well as 2 or 3 spreads, depending on how much time you have or how complicated they are. And this will also give you a chance to see how long it takes you to do something. If you're proposing something that's time intensive, to get a couple of them done will help you judge how much time you are going to have to spend on them, and then be able to showcase those in the digital presentation. It's not about printing them out and bringing them, although you can do that, but that's not required. And then, of course, the most important thing that you're going to do in this presentation is you're going to create a thank you page at the very end, and please do not forget that. And by the way, the A-making machine has been just cruising along, and everyone has been doing everything great. The thank you pages are always showing up brilliantly. You guys are listening to the assignments, coming to class. So just keep it going. Now let's just keep doing it, because the A-making machine is a very happy machine right now. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the schedule. And this outlines our next couple of weeks where we'll have, week 2 is over. It's a grade out. Next week, we're going to have two class. You'll be in one of the 2 days, half of us meeting for the full time, with everyone invited to come to both if you want. And then week 4, we'll have a small group of 4 we'll meet together in class, everyone at once, and we'll have a small group session, as well as I'll talk a little bit about the video and things like that. But it'll be like it will be on this schedule, the way it's laid out, the last class before the finished projects are due. And this sounds very, very soon. So, and last year we had this issue too. Let me skip that for now. So I'm now showing you a little further about what we have coming up. And this actually takes us to week 7. That includes both the physical and the digital project. And basically, if I color them out here, you can see the blue at the top represents our physical project that runs through week 4. And then the gold color below is the digital project that runs through week 7. And what I'm proposing, if people are worried about time, is that we do some switching and we move up 2 of the weeks into 2 sessions up, and move week 4 Thursday to week 5 Thursday, so that the final critique is here on week 5 Thursday rather than week 4 Thursday. And instead, in week 4, we get briefed on the digital project, and then we have our 2 half group sessions like we just did on Tuesday. And then for the digital project. But while you're working on the digital project, you're also working on finalizing and most importantly, probably printing without the other classes wanting to get into that into the printing center, and that you have more time to do that. So let's talk about this on our half sessions next week, but this is the way to go unless everyone is so far ahead that we don't have to do this. But this is our emergency plan here. It's not an emergency, but I think it's a smart way to use time. And I think it's going to give us a lot less stress and a better result in the end. Okay, so let's talk about who's going where. So on Tuesday, next week, coming up, we'll have group 1, which is half the class, to meet for their review of their concept presentation. That'll be Sasha, Rowan, Jeannie, Moy, Heining, Charlotte, quiet, Jennifer, Esther. And then we're going to have on Thursday, Rosa, Sahara, Yomna, Tiana, Jordan, Damla, Sihing, and Jojo. I'll put these in the email so that you can see it. But on the below here, we have our nerdy smiley face guy letting us know that everyone is welcome to come. So even if you're not on Tuesday's class, you are welcome to come on Tuesday, and you won't be presenting, but you are welcome when you're there, not only to see and give feedback to the half of the students that are in that class, but the class most likely won't take the full 3 hours. So afterwards, then I'll have time to meet one-on-one with people. So you're welcome to come meet then. Same with Tuesday people. If you want to come back on Thursday and like say, oh, here's what we talked about, and come on over. And then all that being said, anytime anyone is always welcome to email me or Slack me if they have questions or need feedback. But you're required to come to one of the 2 classes as shown here, but everyone can come both. So don't be like, why can't I come to class? You can come to class, and it would be very productive. But the purpose of this, again, isn't for you guys necessarily to get a break, although breaks are good. It's for you to then focus your time on your project in your own spaces or in the school or in our classroom if you want to be in there working. But it's not about, you won't be required to participate or present on the day that you're not assigned to. Okay, so I've posted the assignment on Canvas, and this one's got part 1 and part 2 together. The part 2 link is dead because it's not, I haven't made a Google Drive yet, but the part 1 link is there. And this will give you an opportunity to be able to review everything written down. And again, we're going to post it on the Google Drive. There's a new folder called Physical Forms Part 1 for this first part. And then the design development one will be after this week. And then remember, we have our core topics video number 2, and that is out. And it's on serial publications. And make sure to watch that so we can have a quick conversation next week about that in our class. And then, okay, here's our friend, our beauty friend. Remember what we're trying to do here. We are living through the mentality of a cup half full, and that we are looking for beauty in all places, unexpected and expected. And we're trying to create a message that's going to inspire people with our projects through our design talents, reflecting the collaboration we have with creativity and reality. And of course, this is now becoming much more of crunch time, and the honeymoon is over at the beginning of the year, and now we're in hardcore working. And one of our formulas for this class is that suffering plus suffering equals joy. And I want to make sure that you're all, and I know you're all fit and you're all prepared for this. And so it takes to continue, you're already doing this, to continue to take the time, to continue to spend the hours, continue to be self-critical, self-motivating, but be collaborative. Ask your friends, ask me, get feedback, and be inspired, because we are all so lucky to be in this class together, learning and growing within our expert skills and our potential to be professional designers very, very soon. So let's keep going. Let's keep moving. So back to work, everybody. Spend the weekend working. I'm going to be working over the weekend. I don't know about you, but also spend time resting and be grateful at all times. So thanks, everybody. And we will see you on class on either Tuesday or Thursday. Take care.